Don't just live for tomorrow, or just live in yesterday. Just be glad for all you have that's in today. And though you've come through many obstacles.
Hey everyone, Connie here, and welcome to my blind reaction to Fire Force, episode 14. So this is the final episode of this arc, and everything's kind of going to hell right now. Like, the entire village is burning, we have imposters in the mist, no one is listening, so it's like, we gotta see where it's going. It seems like Benimaru is understanding all of this now, so he understands that Company 8 is not his enemy anymore. But at the same time, with these people able to flawlessly integrate themselves into situations and to flawlessly just take over people's appearances and stuff, it's like, how are you going to tell who is and is not? Like, it seems like Arthur could tell very easily, actually. He was able to tell that one girl was actually an old man in disguise. I don't know how, but he might be a big help here. However, he was able to tell. We shall see when we get to that, of course. Garbage truck. If you heard that, that's what that was. But yeah. So we'll just have to kind of take that as it goes. But as a little note, this is the final Fire Force episode we're going to be watching for now. We're going to be taking a break, and then we're going to be coming back. I'll talk more about that in the afterthoughts, but I have mentioned this before, but yeah, it's just a good point to take a break on, just so we don't get overwhelmed by the series and don't like start to lose interest because of it. Just been doing that with a lot of shows nowadays because I'm so afraid of losing interest in the series because of just getting overwhelmed by so much of it that I end up dropping it because of that. I don't want to do that. So we're doing whatever we can to make sure that doesn't happen. And if that means, if it's like a longer series like this, 24 to 26 episodes or something like that, or even longer, then we'll take breaks whenever it feels right. And again, this is about halfway through, a little over halfway through the season, so it's a good point to do so. But yeah, either way, I'm excited to see how this ends. I'm interested to see how they end it. Like, because I can't think of how they're going to end this. But yeah, so we're gonna find out. Yeah. So let's just get this going and hope for the best. When the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black and then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episode. So, that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So, good episode to end off on for the time being. We got our conclusion. We saw how Benimaru finished off the Demon Infernal. I don't remember, like, the actual guy's name. If it was brought up, it probably was. I just don't remember. But he was taken out, and the rest of the Whiteclads were forced to retreat for the time being. But we did get a little bit of information. She said, the archer lady with the Whiteclads, she said that their commander was had an Edola burst too, right? Then their commander is Shinra's brother, right? So both Shinra and his brother have an Edola burst? Is that what that's saying? And if so, what's going to happen when they end up clashing? I guess we'll have to see, but I'm definitely interested when that eventually does happen. Um, but it's good seeing this character, Betty Maru, who, while being the strongest member of the Fire Force, has clearly had some misgivings about himself. He's clearly not the most self confident, and he's deferred a lot to his lieutenant. Um, but here he has to step up himself and does so excellently. He shows true leadership through an unconventional set of means when he encourages everyone and then tells them to beat the shit out of each other. Because that's, I guess, a thing that only would work within their town. Definitely seems like, based on what we've learned, though, it definitely seems like a thing that would work in their town. But then he also takes on the Demon Infernal and is the one to defeat it using his lieutenant's move. So that's interesting in and of itself. But he very much has proven why he's the strongest member of the Fire Force, and so I definitely get it. But we also see that he forges a full-on alliance with Company 8 after the fact, so we now have an alliance of 3. We have Companies 8, 5, and 7 all aligned together. Although 5 and 8, I guess, or 5 and 7, I guess, aren't really aligned with each other. They're just both aligned with Company 8. So it's going to be interesting to see if that just keeps happening. If they just keep adding more companies to their alliance, that would be fun. But this was huge. This was a huge arc because it definitely progressed the main plot line and the main with the main antagonists as of now, the Whiteclads. It gave us a lot of big information, and it just showed the kind of stuff that the Whiteclads are capable of and willing to do. Not only can they alter people's appearances, but on top of it, they also have no qualms about sacrificing themselves and turning themselves into infernals in order to, like, take on their enemies. And it looks like that is the way that the demon infernals happen, like, not just like having the bug enter you, but like swallowing it, like that guy did. So that's really interesting. And that was pretty much the core of this episode, just the big action stuff and finding out more information as we went along. But there was one interesting part in this. Shinra seemed to be having some issues. I don't know if it was just his nerves getting to him or if something else was going on, but he was hallucinating and just really not doing too well for a bit there. He managed to break out of it. He did. But he was like imagining his legs as skeletal and stuff and seeing like fuzz over them. Like, there was some weird shit going on with him, and it could have been just his nerves getting to him and he was just like hallucinating because of that and just freaking out. Like, that kind of stuff can happen. But it could also have been someone fucking with him too. It could have been. We don't know for sure. At least it never confirms one way or the other in the episode. But now that we've gotten a bunch more information on the Whiteclads, how is this going to affect things going forward? And where do you even go from here? When this arc features the strongest member of the Fire Force, some really, really intense battles and heavy scenarios, where do you go from here? Like, how are you going to top that? I mean, I'm not saying that they can't. I'm just wondering how they're going to. So we'll have to see. But like I had said, we will be taking a break. We're going to take a break for a little bit to check something else out, and then we're going to come right back to Fire Force after and do the second half of this season. So what is going to be replacing it for the time being? Well, this is a donation reward slot, so the replacement kind of has to be a donation reward. At least I'm sticking with that. So we are going to be getting back to something that we haven't checked out for quite a while. And that is Miraculous. We're going to be checking out season 2 of Miraculous. It's been a while since we finished season 1, and I think it's about that time we get back into this. This is a donation reward for Smurf. So I think it's the right thing to do here, to get back to that, now that we just have the availability to. Miraculous is one of those shows that is very on the edge for me, because it's like there are some parts of it that are really damn good, but then other parts that are not so much so. So hopefully, with how season 1 ended up becoming pretty damn good with all of the extra lore and stuff we had gotten, hopefully season 2 continues that kind of stuff. We'll have to see, though. But yeah, I'll talk more about that when we actually get to the reaction next week. But I want to thank you all so much. And once again, I do want to thank Matthew Vasquez for donating and choosing this as your reward. It's a great show. I'm actually enjoying it a lot more than I ever thought I would. And like I said, we will be returning to it starting with episode 15 after Miraculous. No matter what happens with Miraculous, we will be returning to Fire Force after. So yeah, we'll take that as it goes, and for now, tell me your thoughts down below on this episode of Fire Force. And as always, no spoilers for the future, and thank you so much for tuning in. For now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.